It's been good. Good. Steady marking forward. Yeah. Mom and Dad. Took 20 without comments. But you know, say 30 with. I'm gonna go 20 with. That's too close to you. I'll go 24 with.
We've got timer.
Say
I trust you. So I'm gonna try.
Well,
All in.
no, I mean it for the
the
public.
3 minute one.
Because usually Tiffany handles that. She's not here.
You think we're gonna have anything?
No, I couldn't.
Yeah, I know we're gonna.
I can put them on my timer here.
David, period, F. HPC Utah. That's the. That's what I thought you were in the funeral. They worked with your wife.
Well,
no problem.
No.
There we go.
Good, how are you?
Tiffany's not here.
Not here.
All right.
But maybe somehow let's
That's
a good connection
Yeah.
before you go.
And apparently Tiffany's out tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our March 11th city council meeting. We appreciate you coming. Stephanie said she's going to be a little bit late, and Tiffany is a little under the weather, so we'll go ahead and get started. We have a quorum. We're going to start with Councilmember Fowles said that he would lead us in our prayer and pledge, so we'll turn to that.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful that we can gather together this evening as city council and as citizens and residents of this good Hyde Park city, which we live in. We are grateful for the freedoms we enjoy. We are grateful for the beauties we enjoy. We're grateful for the good people of this city and who are engaged and who do much good. We're grateful for our city staff and those who serve our city. We're grateful for our law enforcement, for Chief Goodrich and those who work with him to help keep our city safe and secure. We pray that that would help us tonight as we interact with the residents and as we conduct the business and affairs of the city, that we can do that which is good and right for the city, and pray for those who are not here this evening, and pray for all in our community who are suffering and struggling, and likewise those throughout the world who are experiencing the ravages of war and other challenges in their life. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
You please rise.
Follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item, the next item we have is the meeting minutes from February 23rd. Dave, do you have any comments?
I do not. No.
I do not.
Kurt?
Yes. It's just a clerical error, I'm sure, but where is it? It says under minutes, councilman member adoption of the agenda last time. Councilmember Atkinson made a motion to approve the agendas as presented. And Councilmember Atkins seconded the motion. Pretty good.
Can she second? Good catch, man.
Good.
Thank you.
That was a test. You passed it fairly, Gerald.
Yeah, we all knew about it. We was just waiting to see if you would catch it, Kurt.
I'm glad you asked me last.
Good catch. With that clerical change, I'd look for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 23rd or 25th.
So moved.
Got a motion from Dave. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second from Darrell. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed with nay? Okay,
Do
the next,
workshop also? Do we need?
oh yeah, yep, we need to look at the meeting minutes from the workshop. Dave, do you have comments on that?
I do not.
Carol?
No.
Kurt, no.
I move we adopt it.
We got a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the workshop. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Got a second from Dave. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed with nay? Motion carries 3-0. The next item is the agenda, and I see that you made under action items, number 7. Is it B?
Mhm.
B, we're going to delete that. We don't have everything for that, so we're gonna, that's to consider a minor subdivision ordinance. So with that amendment, council, do you have anything that you would want on there?
No.
No.
If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the meeting agenda for city council. Look for a motion to approve it as amended.
I will make the motion to approve this agenda
We got a
as
motion-
amended.
we got a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Second,
I'll second that.
second by Dave. Motion was by Gerald. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed with nay? Motion carries 3-0 again. The next item is for resident input. And we ask that you limit it to 3 minutes, and it's not items that are currently on the agenda. And we may not be able to answer the questions at this time if you have some, but we will make sure that if you have questions, that we can get the right people to get on those and get back with you. So we'll open it up for resident input at this time. You just come up and bare your soul.
Oh,
Oh, you got your,
you got my timer.
You got your timer. Okay,
Okay.
well.
Oh, but it's great too. Okay.
You've lost 5 seconds.
I would like to reclaim my time.
My name is Bonnie McMullen, and I'm a resident of Hyde Park. Well, my husband and our family moved here about 2 years ago. Happy to be here, really excited. We're building a home, but we're running into some issues. And I would like to just bring to your attention the lack of municipal code regarding retention and the conflict with retaining and the definition of structure in the municipal code. Currently, I'm trying to build a retaining wall to retain my soil in our new home, and we have been met with rejection because our retaining wall is said to be in the setback, the 30-foot setback. I'm having a conflict with this because I can't retain my dirt that I need to because of the slope of my lot and stay in the 30-foot setback. Now, I know planning and zoning, I have emailed planning and zoning, and I'm able to get emails to all of them. I also tried to email each of you. I know I got it through to you, Mayor Cox, but that your email bounced back that you were out of the office.
Yeah.
The rest of the city council, I have not been able 3 times to email and get this to you, so I'll bring you in hard copies of that.
I'll forward what you sent to me to them.
I've sent it to you.
Yeah.
So you have 2, you have one,
I've
it's
got.
zoning, it's retaining in structure 1, and then there's retaining in structure 2 that I've sent.
I responded to your email. Did you get that?
I've hurried back from St. George. I was with Green Canyon Girls Golf,
Okay.
golfing in St. George for the past 3 days, but
Uh,
wanted to make it back to the meeting. I just want to bring your attention to this. This is an issue that needs to be addressed in our city. That there is currently the only reference to retaining in the municipal code is under building permits. And it currently states that you do not have to have a building permit if your wall is less than 4 feet in the setback. So in my understanding of this and the current application of the definition of structure, per that definition, I could have 4 feet of rock 30 feet back into my yard, and that wouldn't be considered structure. But if I have a retaining wall for the purpose of retaining soil that comes into that 30-foot setback, I cannot have that. I need this wall so that I can retain the soil so it does not slide. Currently, with the delay, I have lost a lot of soil sliding down the hill. And I just need this to be addressed with the city council, and I'll continue to monitor what's happening with planning and zoning, but I would really appreciate your attention to this matter.
Okay. I think I responded last week when you sent it. Oh, man. I think I responded last week just telling you thank you. And if that email didn't go through, I was out of the country, but
I got 2 bounce backs from you saying you were out of town. City member Brower, I sent them to you and it bounces back saying that your email doesn't exist. And then the other members of the city council, it says that the recipient's email won't accept it. But I can get it through to you, Mayor Cox. I can get it through to Mikhail Layton. I can get it through to everyone in planning and zoning. But for some reason, the city council, it bounces back.
I will forward the email. I read through
Yeah.
your email and I
Yeah.
will forward it on to.
Again, I'm just asking that this be addressed because the further east we go on the hill,
Oh, yeah.
the more retention needs to be addressed, and with nothing in current municipal code. North Logan, I also attached in there North Logan's adoption of retaining definitions. Providence Cities. This happened in 2024. Providence City adopted retention. Smithfield has it. Logan City has it. Hyde Park does not.
Thank you. I know that we've had discussion as a city about this, and I'll talk to the planning chair, Miss Melinda Lee, and we'll try and get some more clarity on this. Appreciate it. And I'm sure your neighbors want you to retain it. All right, is there any other resident input?
Oh, so my name's Jaron McMullen. I'm with Bonnie. So, yeah, same sort of issue. So we love Hyde Park. We've driven around town. We've seen all sorts of ways to deal with the dirt on these sloped lots. And it just seems like where we've run into the wall, not intended, is just there's a lot of inconsistency. So that's why Bonnie's trying to push for an adoption of a similar set of codes that clarify things. Because ideally, we would like the nicest looking and strongest version of retaining. And so that ends up being tied into the foundation of the house. So that then runs into the definition of primary structure.
That's,
And so, for instance, you can drive up to Lions Park, the last house on the right has a big garage in the back with a retaining wall tied into the garage that comes within 20 feet of the road. You know, you go up 200 south, Jay Jenks has the super nice house with the golf turf in the backyard. We actually modeled our plan. I went and knocked on his door, introduced myself and said, hey, we love your front yard. It's beautiful. We want to do that. Can I measure this? We chatted. I got to know him. We were new to town. And we're being told we can't do what he has, which is retaining walls that are anchored into his house that come within 20 feet of the setback when it's a 30-foot setback, 20 feet of the property line. So like I said, that's what we're trying to do is basically retaining wall, because we're on a fairly sloped lot, make it look nice, make it functional, and then make it better than what I like appreciate as good. But you know, if you drive up and down a lot of the roads through town that run east-west, especially as you go farther up on the bench, you drive up and down 450 north, you know, the side slope, there'll be a front porch, and then there's a wall of retaining rocks, and it comes into the setback. So we're hoping to do the same thing with actual retaining wall. And then we paid to have that engineered, which ties it into the house, which then isn't allowed, but we could do it with rocks from what I understand. So the code, according to what has been introduced and passed in Providence and some of these other locations, would allow that with nuances added. For instance, no higher than 4 feet within, or yeah, no higher than 4 feet within a certain distance of the property line. So that's along the lines of what we're hoping to be able to get clarified so that it's consistent. Because like I said, we drive up and down all sorts of roads. And according to what structure is listed as, there is all sorts of structure within 5 feet of the property line, up and down all sorts of roads. And so clarifying what can be built, what can be tied into the house for strength as opposed to just rock retaining wall. And so that's why we're both here today. Thanks.
thank you. And welcome to Hyde Park.
Thank you.
Any other comments? We can hit the trifecta if your son wants to come. All right, having no other comment, we'll close that resident input, and I know Marcus and Mikhail will get that and get some clarity going with the planning commission on that, so.
Yeah, in fact, I'll just publicly say I'm just grateful for the Planning and Zoning Commission. They spent quite a bit of time a week ago discussing this particular issue and some other code things. And I was just grateful for their efforts and work to try to get ahead of the curve on some things that have been coming up. So
In this case, perhaps catching up to a curve. So, but, all right, we'll take that with the planning commission and get that going through the proper channels in the city. The next item is to receive mayor and staff report. Marcus, you have your staff report. You want to go first on this?
Yes, I wanted to hit a few highlights this week in the staff report. I feel like there's a few items in here that are pretty important that I need to just bring up quickly for the council to think about and be informed on. First is our, excuse me, well house and transmission line project out here. Right now it's scheduled that we would get that project, the connection done into the tank and lines park. It's scheduled to have that completed or started around the first or second week of April. We're trying to nail down a final date with the contractor. Once they make the connection into the tank, then the project will be pretty much done. After that, we'll do the final walkthrough. And I know there's a bunch of bumps in the road and things they'll have to come in and fix that we're going to make sure they fix. One thing to be aware of is when we do that, the tank will have to be drained completely. And so we're probably going to be sending out messages to the public, letting them know to watch their water usage. And the goal is that this is all Mother Nature's doing. our spring where we get the water from the mountain has to reach a certain point. So we shouldn't have any outages of service, and we can divert the water through our other tanks. But we just wanted to be transparent with you that that is a concern, that there may be some sort of outage that happens if there's a fluctuation in the level of the spring.
I know on this, Public Works has been working on all of the isolation valves, making sure that they're going to be
We're
able to
completely
isolate
rebuilding
everything
10 or 12 of them to make sure that they work properly.
so that we can isolate the tank. Also, let's make sure the contractor is staged and ready to go. They have everything there. We don't drain the tank and then they're going to come and bring, take 2 days of mobbing. So,
We're going to have that meeting next week to make sure they'll be ready on time.
yes.
The next update is brought to the city council a few weeks ago that we noticed a large leak coming out of our water tank in the Greystone area. This has become the #1 priority for us. We've identified a fix with Sunrise Engineering and are planning to get that taken care of next week. The cost came out to be a lot less than we thought. So hopefully the repair is less than $20,000. That amount is within the city staff's discretion to just make the decision. So given that it's a bit of an emergency, we told them to go ahead and get a couple bids and let's move forward with it. So I'm just letting you know that that is going to be happening. Additionally, some great news today. The mayor and I got to get a good look at our brand new street sweeper in action. Works fantastic. And we're excited that we have a fully functional street sweeper after decades of our little engine that could not. And then the other thing that I just want to bring up, it didn't make it to the staff report, but I left it in a comment off to the side. We had a lot of complaints about our payment system, our digital payment system. And through some good work from our city staff, we've identified a new system that we want to bring to the city council and propose that we change contracts to move to a new system. And so we'll prepare a little comparison side by side between our existing system and the one that we would like to move to and bring it to the city council at the next meeting for consideration.
Is that for city reservation, building reservations? Is that?
I think it would tie into that. This would be for people who pay their bills online, any kind of online payments. There's just a lot of issues with the current system, and we'll explain that all at the next meeting. But this new one is one that a lot of other cities in the valley have. They're very happy with it. And so we're hoping to incorporate that to alleviate some headaches and some stress, both on the city staff side and the public side.
Marcus, do you know how long we've had the current software program? I mean, since you've been here?
It's,
You know, Danya?
7 years?
yeah, it's been a while.
So in the world of technology, probably good time to be rethinking anyway about.
Yeah, and the
moving.
short version is the software we have now, I'm sure the move was made to save money.
And we're paying for it.
And we're still saving a ton of money. It's a very inexpensive software, but with the amount of complaints and hours that we spend on those complaints, we feel like changing, even though it's going to cost a little bit more, is going to be well worth the expenditure.
Thank you.
Concerning the street sweeper, we haven't had an idea of perhaps opening it up to name our street sweeper. And first I was thinking maybe we send out to the residents, but we may not like some of the suggestions they have. But actually going to the elementary school and letting them do a contest and with a little art thing, and we can wrap it and name it. And if they have their little picture selected, come have the top 3 come to the council and get a something to stick on the side of the truck of their artwork. I think that would be fun for the, pick a grade level, 5th grade or something down there that they come up with something. Anybody wants to enter it, but council, would you be opposed to that?
Sounds great.
No, I wouldn't be opposed.
Our job is picking up. How's that? The street sweeper.
I saw it today and I couldn't believe it. It's cool.
It's a great truck.
Feel like that would create some community spirit. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I think Naming it might be a good thing. All right.
Could I address, on your, staff report, the facilities? Did you want to say anything about that before I comment?
1 second. I gotta pull it back up.
Oh,
No, and I don't know if that needs to be addressed in the council meeting. I just wanted to inform the city council that, it's kind of a problem.
Okay.
So everybody read your staff report.
yeah, you'll notice the chain up here. If you come in this door, you'll see that it's prohibiting.
Yeah,
But I think in the interest of the public that's here.
Yeah,
we
I'll
can at
give
least
a
say
summary.
There's some concerns with renting the facility.
Yeah, so the building rentals this past couple months have become a bit of a headache for us. There's been a lot of people not treating the building very well, not respecting other people's space and parties happening here. And so we have just been dealing with a lot of that nonsense, and it's fine. We understand it's part of our job to deal with the public. And even when the public's not having the best day, we still get to put our best face forward. But we just wanted to make sure the council was aware that we've been having some issues with the building rentals. And we think
When we were discussing this, I guess it's been a while. Time goes so fast, but, I feel like we, as a council, ought to seriously, think about maybe just limiting the rentals to our city. I feel like we need to offer that to our Hyde Park citizens because the building belongs to them. But outside the city, I worry that the amount of wear and tear, unlike the chairs, and are we recouping enough to then replace the chairs after renting it for so long? And so we're offering it to citizens outside of Hyde Park from our citizens' money, our citizens' pockets. And so I feel like we ought to maybe reconsider who we rent the building to. And I feel like our citizens have a vested interest in the building to take care of it, I hope. But I'm not sure if people outside the city would feel that same way, as evidenced by the amount of damage we've had recently.
well, and I'll say that the identifying factor does not seem to be residency in the city. There's good and bad actors on the non-residents and the resident side. So take that for what it's worth. Anyway, I wasn't thinking we would spend a ton of time on that. I just wanted to inform the city council that it's been a little tough, but it's
Well,
fine.
I just wanted to put that in everybody's minds and ponder on.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask? a question?
Sure.
What's the anticipated time of taking care of the pump and draining the tank and getting that whole cycle through so that we,
The contractors tell us that they can do it in about 4 to 7 days. So we need to have a good trend of our spring, making sure that it's maintaining the level that we need it to be. And then just cross our fingers and hope that it will extend into the next week.
It's,
And historically, yes, once we reach that level, we sustain it for quite a few months. So we're not worried about it.
Okay, so the hoping part isn't really all that super critical.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
or
dry,
it would-
it was a dry winter, so we're a little nervous, but historically, we have a big spike in the spring when the snow starts to melt, and then a very, very slow decline into the summertime for our spring. And so we're entering that big spike now, and things are looking good.
Yeah, perfect, thanks.
Yeah.
This has been something that obviously, when we're talking about the water tank, I'm concerned, so we're gonna be on top of this and make sure that it's done expediently, done correctly, but we want it done quickly because the very concerns that we have.
Oh, I've got one more thing. I
Okay.
know we're waiting on the road down on 450 North near IH,
Mhm.
but that dip is, somebody's gonna get their tires all messed up. I mean, it's so bad. that they ought to fix that now, at least do something or put up cones or something to alert people that there's a major hole there.
So, yeah, we can put the cones up. Part of the repair on that road is going to be happening with Wolfpack Way extension. We're going out.
I know,
But-
but have you driven that road?
No,
You would
because I
know
don't
because-
want to ruin my tires.
And just to address that, that is an improvement being done by a developer, private development. That infrastructure hasn't been inspected and accepted by the city yet. And that asphalt is all going to be torn up and redone. It was put down as a temporary patch just to try and serve for the winter, but we can definitely have a conversation with them. The other thing that needs to happen is that manhole needs to be raised a little bit
That-
too.
Correct.
So,
We need to
Okay.
do something immediately because it's
Okay.
really bad.
okay.
Chief, do you have anything?
I
You
do
do.
have a couple things I was asked to bring back to the council. I wanted to do, again, we're going to touch every month on the previous month's stats and kind of where we're at. And then I was asked to bring back the speed trailer report. And so I have a sampling of that. First off, for February of 2026, the PD handled 401 calls. Out of that 401, 80 were in Hyde Park and 321 were in North Logan. It equates to about an 80-20 split as far as the percentage. Out of those non-priority, we had 38 calls in Hyde Park that were non-priority. And on that, under the blue column, you can see what those are. The agency assist, the citizen assist, the animal problems, animal loss, those type of calls where a delay in response from the officers is not quite as imperative, I guess, or quite as visible. Priority, it breaks down to 52.5% were priority out of that 80. And if you look in the green column, our priority calls are listed there. It's breaking down again to the most usual calls that we take, the medicals, the accidents, the frauds, the juvenile problems. We did have an unattended death in Hyde Park during this month that we were
We had
working
one
with.
last month too.
Did on that. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's kind of the breakdown. I did want to point out, if you'll scroll down just a little bit there, Marcus, on our traffic stops. So out of this month for February, we had 370 stops. 78 of those were in Hyde Park with 14 citations from that and 64 were warnings on that. If you look at the column on that bottom there, 761 stops we've made so far this year. And at the same time last year, the end of February of 2025, the department had made 562. So we're still as busy, but what we're seeing is the benefit of being fully staffed and having officers out there, is they're out there making stops and trying to be out in the public and enforce some of these things on that. So this is a good thing. I want to keep seeing those numbers go up because it tells me the guys are out there and that they're trying to address the concerns and the problems that are coming from the council as well as staff and citizens as we get those reports. And so we're trying to address those things still.
Chief, can I ask what attempt to locate vehicle is? I mean, that sounds like me coming out of Walmart and trying to remember where I park.
Yep,
But-
a little different than that. So the attempt to locate are citizens who are calling in because of a distracted driver or a possible drunk driver. There's a problem with how somebody is driving in front of them, and so they're
Got
calling
it.
dispatch to say, "Hey, this guy might be drunk." They're
Okay.
weaving in and out, and so it requires that immediate.
Okay,
We got to go find where.
okay. That
Right,
sounds
in there.
like a good thing that citizens, residents are seeing, having concerns
Yep,
and then
absolutely.
calling. Okay.
And we're able to respond to those, and not all the time, but sometimes they do result in the DUI arrests on that. Our proactive approach to try to find those DUIs is stopping a lot of cars. 1 out of 11 is a national statistic for finding a DUI driver. On that, you have to make 11 stops before you find that one on that. So if we have citizens who are reporting it, this guy right in front of me he's all over the road.
Mhm.
There's a higher chance that they're DUI and we need to immediately intervene with that.
Okay, thank you.
The staff asked me to bring back the radar trailer report, which ties in also with this traffic stops. And if you'll pull up that next one. So this is the trailer report from up on 540 North and 400 East. The picture on that right, you can all visualize that in your mind. The trailer was just on the east side of the road there. And traffic coming northbound past it, were able to see the sign. It was visible to them. So southbound traffic were not able to see the sign on that. So with that, I took one day and I figured the best information to give you is kind of a sampling of any one particular day of what that's going to look like, especially as our elementary school gets finished there and operating. It's going to be important to understand what daily traffic we're seeing there. So if you look at the next page down, on the day that I picked, it was February 6th. We had 4,270 vehicles that were counted on that day. 1,662 vehicles were southbound approaching the sign, and 2,608 were northbound traveling away from the sign. Out of those, 38.55% were under the speed limit. So the majority of people are speeding on that, and we can get through exactly what that speed breaks down to. The average speed recorded was 26.47. Our fastest speed was 87 miles an hour, and that happened between the hours of 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. And I believe that was one kid that was testing to see how fast he could get going as he went north, and that was northbound as well, out of the city. And the 85th percentile was 33 miles per hour. So out of the speeding vehicles, 2,624 of those counted were speeding with that. And it's important to note, I guess, for the public works, this next stat that we're going to talk about when we're talking about signs to purchase and the calming effect that they have. So out of those speeding vehicles, 1,032 were speeding towards the sign with the sign visible and that display visible. And it's set so that it would flash red and blue lights when they got to 10 miles an hour or more on that. So the ones that were speeding towards the sign or coming southbound were 1,592. So it's 560 vehicles that sign made a difference for, of having that visible sign and the flashing lights. It slowed down people. That's what we see with the radar trailers and with those flashing signs, is that it does have a calming effect on traffic, more so than regulation of speed by stop signs. Like we've had some concerns that have come in and they've wanted the speed controlled by a stop sign, which is really not the way to do it. It's more these other directions that we're talking about, these calming influences that you see on that. Next slide down is the survey summary. And I won't go through all of those, but I pulled all the data that I just talked over from that slide. As you look at your statistical conclusion on that, 59% of the vehicles that were speeding were between 26 and 30 miles per hour. So not a crazy amount over. It ended up being 1,551 vehicles. And then as you go, the higher speed, the fewer cars are in that range. So 731 or 28% were between 31 and 35. And then you start getting into the higher speeds, the 10 plus and over. 194 were 36 to 40, 104 were 41 to 45, 46 to 50. They had 27 of those. And then just a few of the high speeds that were mentioned on that. The graph down at the bottom shows the 85th percentile. So 85% of all the traffic is moving at about 33 miles per hour on that road, either north or southbound. That last page is the count and the times that those vehicles are driving and the mile per hour that they're being recorded at. So what that does is gives us as law enforcement an idea of the best time to have enforcement out there, or the best time to be monitoring those times on that. And you see, your heavy numbers there, again, corresponds to your time when people are going to school, going to work, and coming back home from work. That corresponds with the heavy use as well. And the last page, I guess, on that is, again, on this particular one, when you're talking about the egregious speeds, those are the speeds that change lives and alter people's lives. And so our best enforcement would be between the hours of 2 and 3 of schools getting out, as far as the high speeds on that. There are other things that we can do throughout the day and in between calls when you have your heavier traffic, but the crazy egregious ones are in the early afternoon hours on that. This gives you a pretty good sampling of any one day and what that's going to look like. As the school gets into session and things like that, I think it helps with the planning commission and with our safety committee as we talk about what signs we need to look at and how to place those. I think will help control some of that traffic and those problems. And if there are other areas you want the trailer to go, please let me know and I'm happy to put it up there and we can do the same thing.
I've been especially interested in this because I've been walking that for at least 9 months. And so I've watched the traffic. It has been significantly slower since the trailer's been there, which means that if this reports that it's been 33 miles per hour, the average speed, you know that it's been higher before the trailer went there, and it'll be higher again after it leaves.
Yep, absolutely. But again, that tells the city an idea of, okay, if we had some flashing signs and things like that, or even a speed sign like that, or more speed trailers, then it's worth it. I'd left the trailer there for an extended time. Usually we don't leave it there for that long, but it was left for over a month to help with that problem. And
Yeah.
we did see that reduction as it comes down.
Absolutely.
So,
And it was entertaining. There was cars that would speed up when they saw it because I guess they wanted to see the blue and red. I mean, not at first, but I think after people got used to it, especially the little compact cars that look older. I imagine those are teenager cars.
Is the four-way stop gonna help?
it is going to help. I sat there when I
Awesome.
picked up the trailer for a little bit and actually watched it. And particularly your southbound cars that are coming in, they're stopping and they're looking. And we had a couple that came right at the same time coming westbound down the hill and approaching that stop sign, and somebody coming southbound and they're meeting at the same time. And it's making a difference, I believe. So with that, so
The thing I noticed here, there's the back towards the back of the trailer, that means that they're northbound, right?
the back of the trailers are coming actually southbound, so they're not visible. They're not seeing the sign. If they're coming towards the vehicle or towards the visible to the sign, then they're northbound.
Well, I'll tell you that then the trailer, it may slow somebody down, but you have the same percentage, even though there's more vehicles going southbound on that page where there's 1,032 speeding with the display visible. That's 62% of the vehicles. And the ones going away is at 61%. On the 1592, based on the numbers you have up there in the first bullet of 4270 on February 6th, it's like, it's the same percentage, whether they see the readout or not.
Well, the 2624 are the speeding vehicles. So the 4270 includes all vehicles. So it includes the vehicles that are speeding, and the
Right.
vehicles that weren't.
But I'm saying 62% of them on down there that were speeding
Yeah. Southbound.
based on your numbers up there at that 4270. It's still 61, 62 either way,
Either way.
whether they saw the flashing number or not. It's
Right.
like, but hopefully the overall comes down.
Mhm.
This is concerning because the sidewalk is so, it's right up next to the road.
Well, and not only that, but it's a rounded curve. So it wouldn't even stop a car if they were to go off the road.
That's,
It's really scary in the winter.
That particular road has been the high speed for a long time.
Well,
years and years.
used to be called the Skyview 400 for a reason,
Yep.
when all the kids were going to Skyview, so.
Mayor, could I just ask a different question of the
Sure.
chief? So I was walking on the Wolfpack Way Trail today, and there was two of those electric motorcycles. One was on the road keeping up with 40 miles an hour. The one passed me on the trail from behind me. He's going the same speed.
Yep.
So I guess my question now, legislation's over with. What happened with
Okay.
that?
So what happened, the House and the Senate both passed House Bill 381 on there as far as the electric motorcycle amendments. Basically, what it has done, and let me back up real quick. It now goes to the governor for signature. If he signs it, it goes into effect on May 6th on that. So the basics of what it's doing, it takes the electric motorcycle, the electric dirt bikes basically, and reclassifies them under the current motorcycle laws on that. They're required to have a helmet now. They're required to have a safety certificate that and training that they go through with the Division of Natural Resources. They'll have similar to their OHV training that you can go online for four-wheelers. It'll be something like that they put together and have to go through. It has age restrictions on the kids that can be on the road and can't be on the road with that. It also has language in there for law enforcement to be able to hold the violators, the kids, juveniles involved, along with their e-motorcycle until a parent arrives to pick it up. And if no parents are available, then it gets impounded on that. So that's the basics of it. I know that there's going to be some training that comes out, and I can bring that also to the city council and present that training. In addition to that, I also know that the school district, Cache County School District, is looking to address across all campuses in Cache County, so all the high schools in there, how they're going to handle the electric motorcycles being driven to school. It deals a lot with the practice. They're coming down, 3,100 to get to basketball practice and all these other practices and things like that. So there's been some suggestions that have gone up to them. I know that they're talking about just a strict enforcement. I know that they've talked about possibly tying that to eligibility with their sporting programs. If you have 3 or more citations and you sit a couple of games out on that. So they're looking at how they can help curb that problem with that right now.
Okay, thank you.
So as cities, because the state has taken this, we don't have anything to do because it's now state law, correct?
Yes and no. So the city, well, let me back up. The state also included a caveat in that so that the cities can go stricter. So if the city wants to, say, adopt an ordinance that says there'll be no scooters or personal mobility devices on a sidewalk at any time, they can adopt that, and that becomes enforceable as a city ordinance on that. So there are things that the city can do as well with that. And I think that's kind of what both North Logan and Hyde Park was waiting to see what the state was going to crack down on.
Yeah.
With that.
If you would, and Lindsay probably asked for the same thing, having something for a newsletter so that we can start educating the public. Goes into effect May 6th. I would think that the police probably are going to have some sort of a grace period when they start doing it, maybe till the end of school, something like that, hey, pull them over and let them know. But we ought to get something from you, whatever probably Lindsay wants the same thing.
I'm sure.
And would you replace Lindsay with Mayor Peterson from North Logan? So
I knew who you meant.
you knew who I would, nobody else may not know who I'm speaking of, but we ought to be trying to educate so that we have that. And then the council, and I'm sure the police commission will start looking at discussing the other things, the trails and things like that. Talking about the e-scooters and things. So
Mayor, can I just say, I like that Chief, from the beginning of these conversations, has referred to these as e-motorcycles and not e-bikes.
right.
I read an article, I think on KSL sometime in the last couple of days, I think a young girl was injured. I mean, they're going to require helmets now, but they kept calling it an e-bike and she hit this wall going 40 miles an hour.
It's not even.
Well, I've been on it. I've got an e-bike. I can't go 40 miles an hour on it. So I'm guessing it would have been an e-motorcycle. So
Correct.
I think in the education process here that we make sure that we're not talking about e-bikes that
Yeah.
go 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, but these are these electric motorcycles. So thank you for
Correct.
making sure there's a distinction there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Any other questions for the chief? We'll move on to the first item is the consider the cooperative wildfire agreement. Marcus, you want to explain this one?
Yes. Excuse me. I'm sure the whole city council read all 12 pages of this agreement and it was just absolutely riveting. So this is an agreement that the city has with the state. It's managed by the Smithfield Fire Department as they are the fire service provider contracted by the city. The meat and potatoes of this agreement is it's a deal between the city and the state saying that the city will contribute funds or in-kind matches towards this agreement. And in exchange, if we ever have a wildland fire, like we had back in 2019, the brush caught on fire and there's a couple planes that had to come drop stuff. The state will hold us harmless with additional costs that come from fighting a wildland fire. In previous years, our contribution was over $2,000. They redid all the calculations and now our contribution is a whopping $191. And so this agreement is just presented to the city council. It's been approved by the city council in past years. And we're just bringing it back, saying our contribution amount has been reduced through Smithfield Fire Department's efforts of training and doing wildland fire exercises with their own fireman force. What's the proper term, chief?
Forest Service.
With their firemen. They already cover that with in-kind contributions. So really, this is not going to cost the city any additional dollars if we sign this.
No, I presume our city attorneys looked at it or it's the same.
Our newest city attorney has not looked at it. Lots of other attorneys have looked at it and said it's totally fine. This is a template put out by the state. We don't modify it at all.
Usually do this every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to get it done this meeting, so.
So now who is our new city attorney?
Jonathan Jenkins. Yes.
So kudos to Jeremy for training his personnel.
Yes, Smithfield Fire Department does a great job. I don't think we've had to put any cash contribution towards this agreement ever. There's always been training or projects or things that the fire department has done with the city, so we haven't had to put any dollars towards it, at least since I've been here. So it's a good.
This is in the fire discussion, but I know the legislature was looking at creating a fire map.
Mhm.
Yes.
Did they do that?
They have one.
They have.
Yes.
Yep.
And what they did is this goes back to the ordinance that we passed in December, the Wildland Urban Interface, the
Yeah,
WUI
right.
code. And so the new legislation that came out this year was basically the state saying cities were all forced to make a map and draw a line of where your interface is at. And then the state, I guess, took all that, made their own map, and the bill this year said, here's where the line's going to be. We don't care what your city maps say anymore. For us, it worked out because it was pretty similar where that line ended up versus where we put it on our ordinance. And so when the mayor and I were looking at that, we weren't too worried about it.
Yeah, it's to give a roundabout area, it's about 5,200 foot elevation, 5,200 foot up along the bench. And even at that, it doesn't mean that they can't build in there. It's just that there be some additional costs.
There's
Iron.
extra
Yeah.
building code requirements, extra landscaping requirements. You have to do fire conscious everything.
But they're more prohibited by where we can provide water to. So
Right. The city's water take can't even service up in that area.
And is there an additional taxing entity for them in that area or not?
No, I don't think they created any new taxing, but if they are in that level 5 or higher risk,
Mhm.
then I believe the state would have an additional tax they put on those
Not
properties
only
that goes to
that,
the property tax
then their
bill.
lot is identified as being a fire danger area, and they have homeowners insurance and things like that,
Okay.
that really makes it cost prohibitive, or could make it that way.
We sorry, do we need a motion on this?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we pass the cooperative wildfire agreement.
I have a motion from Stephanie to approve the cooperative wildfire agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a second from Kurt. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
I,
Any opposed with nay? Motion carries 4-0. I need to make note that Stephanie is here now. We're saying 3-0. The next item is the advising consent for our financial audit. We and Diana had done a great job, but we went out to bid this year, and you want to
Mhm.
discuss that, or Danya, and you can add
So
whatever you want.
It's recommended by the state auditor's office to put out an RFP every 5 to 7 years approximately to look for a new auditor. Our audited company that we've worked with for a while, it's been more than that. I don't know exactly how long it's been. And so we put out an RFP to request a new auditor. Got 2 bids put in. One was by the company that previously audited us. They're called Ritchie May. Ritchie May is a big national firm. They bought out the company Allred Jackson. That might be a name that's more familiar to you. That's the name of the firm that did lots of audits over the years for us. The other company that put in was Jones Simpkins LLC. They're a firm located just off of 10th West in Logan City. The short version is both of the firms are very qualified, offer very similar services. There's a big difference in pricing, especially over the course of several years. The bid asked for them to bid out several years of audit services. And so based on how close they were, we really had to go back to costs. And Jones Simpkins LLC had a much more competitive cost. And so city staff recommends that we select Jones Simpkins to be our new auditor.
So this is advice and consent, and that would be looking for everyone to concur or speak.
so is this a 3-year bid? Are we locked into it if we accept that?
It's actually just an annual. They did give us pricing for 3 years, but so we,
If we have a bad experience, I just want to be able to say, hey, we're gonna
right.
maybe go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you just want some thumbs up?
Yeah.
Do you concur?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, we have concurrence 4-0. With that, council, Dave, do you have anything for?
It's not even 8 o'clock. I better come up with something. No, I don't, Mayor.
Tanya's already won.
No, I don't. For this evening, we did not meet this month as a safety committee. We didn't have anything necessarily on the agenda. But are happy to see that the 4-way stops have gone in on 700 East and 4th East. So hope that'll help with safety concerns at those intersections.
Stephanie.
So applications are due tomorrow for our royalty. Our royalty interviews are next Wednesday, and our pageant is a week from Friday.
I would say I've gone to that. That's one of the highlights, actually. I've gone to that for many years, and come to it, and you'll just see the quality of young ladies that apply. All the young ladies in Hyde Park are amazing, and the things they're doing, they'll make a poster of all their service and what they've done, and so it's come and see that. And I'll say that we're doing scholarships, $500 scholarships for them, and we have one person that is donated, and Waste Management is also donating toward that. So I think that's wonderful to be able to recognize these young ladies, so.
Oh, I've got one more thing. We also have Hyde Park rocks going on. The youth council painted about 80 rocks. Cute little designs, and they're hiding them all over Hyde Park, and got a contest going if they post it on the youth council's Instagram page. It's all defined in our newsletter, what to do, how to enter. But if they find one, then they take a selfie and post it on there, and we'll choose some prizes, and should be fun. So look for rocks.
Note to self, download Instagram, I guess. If I find a rock. I'm lucky to find my truck.
Sorry, it's in.
Daryl, do you have anything?
I don't, other than I just wanted to mention, I appreciate the staff report on looking for road repairs, maintenance items. I'm really in favor of that. So great. And it sounds like you're going to address this Center Street kind of
Yeah.
bumpy stuff,
Oh, yeah.
not just but it's kind of wavy.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
having that discussion.
Okay. Super.
Kurt, do you have anything?
One thing, I know this is not anything new to any of you here, but serving on the police commission, watching the stats and what the growth of our city, we've got a potential problem coming if we don't address it down the road. And that is we're understaffed with our police. So I just want to bring that back up to the front. And I'm not sure, I don't have the answer other than hiring one, and then everybody says, where are you gonna get the money? And I agree with that, but it is a challenge we've got, and I don't want us to ignore it and then have a problem where we can't take care of some of the safety or emergency needs of our city.
I know the chief has applied for a grant,
We have,
and this grant is a 3-year grant. It would pay for officer for 3 years, but then it's not like you pay for them for 3 years and then you get rid of them. Then that burden of the fully burdened pay rate goes onto the cities. And so we recognize what you're saying, and meeting with Chief and Mayor Peterson, and I think it was in a commission meeting at one time that we move forward with this, recognizing that staffing is preparing for the future, and we can get it covered with a grant for 3 years, but we know that that's going to be something that's
on that.
just by growth alone, we're going to have that.
Yep, absolutely. And to clarify, actually with that, so we have put in for some grants, and we're working with a lobbyist as well to help try to secure some funding on that. The COPS grant that Mayor Cox is referring to is not due just yet. We still have a little bit of time for that. And we were waiting to see how the commission responded to, okay, do we apply for 1 or 2 or 3 or of those guys? I think that's the direction that we're going to talk about at this next meeting on the 19th, I believe it is.
I
As
think
we
so.
review that.
I think. Yeah, I can't remember what day, but
It's the 19th.
I think it is the 19th or on that Thursday.
but we have to recognize as a city, yeah, we're police department is just like one of our departments that we have. We have, all of our parks, roads, water, sewer. But with that growth, how can we manage that? I know that the state has actually approved something in the most recent legislative session too, for the emergency services. So we'll something we have to tackle.
Yeah.
We know that the growth is going to happen, so, and if we can get help getting there, I think we do all that we can for it to obtain that help.
That's part of why I've been trying to present the data that I have on you. It gives a real, it gives a snapshot of what's happening in the city on there and what resources are being tied to that.
Um, one thing I didn't say is we're preparing to go out to bid on extending Wolfpack Way. We are at a point where we're going to get it approved to go out, and then we'll be doing that and hopefully moving forward this spring on building the next phase of Wolfpack Way. So we received a grant for that, and we'll move forward on that. Other than that, I've got nothing else. If you don't, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll
Motion
second.
from Stephanie and a second from Gerald. All in favor, say aye.